Hi guys, welcome back to At Home with Holly. My name's Holly and I'm so glad you're here today. I am so ready to get outside. It is going to be in the 60s for the next 2 days, a little bit of rain overnight, I think, but it's going to be in the 60s. We have a lot of outdoor projects to get to. I'm excited that you're here. I actually have like a to-do list by area of all the things I need to do today, over the next, well, today and tomorrow. I need to get it all done. So I'm going to do my best to get all of it done in this one video. If not, then I'll break it up over two. But let me take you guys along with me and let me give you a look at what we're going to be doing over the next few days. Okay, so in my brain, this makes sense to lay it out this way. So in bed one, the east third or half of the bed, I want to plant half of my onions. In bed three, I want to plant the other half of my onions and shallots that are ready to go into the ground. And then in bed five, I want to get started on the first succession of lettuce. Bed six, I need to remove the mulch from around the garlic. Bed seven, I need to plant a row of carrots down the middle of the row and remove the mulch from the garlic. Bed eight, I need to, same thing, middle row of carrots, remove mulch. Bed nine, remove mulch from, basically all removing mulch is from the garlic. Bed 11, that's Olivia's bed. I need to install the trellis and plant lettuce on the end of it. In the new bed, I need to put landscape fabric, fill the bottom with cardboard and compost. And then in the chicken bed, the bed that's next to the chicken bed, which I don't have a number, it's just chicken bed. I need to remove the strawberries from it and move them to the new bed and then plant the brassicas in it. I might not move them to the new bed. I might just put them in a flat and decide where to put them later. For the fruit trees, I need to see how they're doing on the compost. I got some rings to put around them to make it easier to mow, but I don't know if I'm going to do that. But I got some organic spikes to put in the ground for fertilizer. I might add those in. The evergreen trees, I need to do fertilizer spikes and refresh the wood chips. Flowering trees need to do fertilizer spikes, and then I have a whole bunch of shredded cardboard that needs to go to the compost bin. So I don't know if I'll get all of this done today, but I'm gonna make a good dent in it, and we'll get this final spring cleanup is what I'm calling it, going. So like I said, I don't know if this will be over one video or two, but here we go. We're gonna get started. All right, so we got our supplies. Let's head over, see what we're working with. So we're going to start in bed one and work our way down. So in the fall, we actually topped off these beds together with some fresh compost, and then we covered each of them with these silage tarps. And I love using silage tarps because it makes it so that the weeds will actually, if there's any weed seeds in your beds or anywhere you put the silage tarps, it will make them germinate and then smother them out, which is amazing. It also keeps the beds warmer, and it makes just a nice little hospitable place for all of the worms and the good things going on in your soil to live and thrive. However, you can't get water to permeate through those sheets. So sometimes at the end of the season, I do take a long time of making sure that the water really gets through, because soil, when you first water it after a long time, is kind of hydrophobic, meaning it repels water. So I did really, really, really give this some chance to soak in before I started planting. All right, so I've got all my holes laid out, and I wanted to show you how easy it is to separate these onions that are started in a pot like this. So you'll just take off the pot, and all you got to do is gently pull, and each of them, sometimes you can break them up a little bit with your fingers, kind of tease them. You just have to gently pull them off to the side, one by one, and they will all just separate, and then you have them one at a time. So you'll take a hole, put the roots in, and kind of squeeze it around. You don't want to pinch it too tight, otherwise it can't bulb up, and you don't want to bury it past the bulb. So when you see the white, sorry, there's a little ladybug larva trying to go down the hole. Get out of there, little guy. Okay, so you just kind of stick them in just like this, barely tuck them in. So again, we're just going to put the roots down in that hole, kind of pinch them around like this, and there you go. We're just going to keep going till we have all of these planted. Sorry for the sniffing. It's windy, and I'm upside down, and it's spring with allergies. So I'm going to go ahead and get all the rest of these planted. So these are the onions that we started together from seed. When you have onions that are started from seeds like this, you call them starts. You can actually purchase starts, which is what I did. You can see the starts that I ordered in the box, and I'm adding those as well. So the live plants are starts. You can also get onion sets, which look like mini full size onions, if that makes sense, like mini whole onions. You can plant from seeds or sets. That's a personal preference. I prefer to plant from seed or starts versus sets. Onions are a biannual, which means the first year they will grow the bulb that we're used to eating, and then the second year they actually try to flower, and that's how they make seeds and continue their life cycle. And I actually find that when you get sets, personally, I think they go to seed very quickly. And so I don't think they have as much time to bulb up and really get the size that I'm wanting. Oh, here I'm showing you that part of the reason I love using the silage tarps is that the worms, there are just like thousands and thousands of worms on this bed. Every time I pick up a scoop, it's just full of worms. And so that means your soil is healthy. When you see worms, your soil is healthy, because if the worms want to live there, that means there's microbial life and all the things that worms are going to eat. So the first type of onions that we planted together are the Pattersons that went in the other bed, and then these are going to be the red wing onions as well that are going to be going in this bed. And so I also left a little bit of room at the end for our shallots, since I am planting a second type of shallots. There's the banana shaped shallots as well in this bed. And so we've got all three of our onions and shallot types planted, and I'm excited to have them in the ground growing for us. You can plant those in the ground 4 weeks before your last estimated frost date. In my area in Northwest Ohio, that's when we do it. I know in other climates they'll plant them in the winter, but where I live, you plant them 4 weeks before your last frost date. Okay, so continuing on the list of spring cleanup, I am removing the mulch from our garlic beds. I start doing this on this day, and then I realize I need to get the new bed set up, and so I quickly switched over to this. So here I'm going to be laying down landscape fabric. I always lay down the landscape fabric first, get it all tucked in, and then I put the bed on top of it, and then put the edging down if I need to, and then I go ahead and cut a hole in the bottom of the landscape fabric that's in the bottom of the bed, and then fill it up with cardboard and keep going from there. All right, so that's in, and then I cut this open so that the roots can get down to the native soil, but I'm gonna put some cardboard down as well. So get some cardboard, lay that down. It'll rain tonight, get wet, and then I'll fill it with compost tomorrow. So this is what it looks like with the cardboard just in the bottom of the bed. It doesn't have to be pretty, it doesn't have to be cute. You just put some old flat pieces of cardboard down in there, and then you could either wet it down or do what I did and let the Mother Nature water it down for you, which is what happened on this evening. It actually rained quite a bit. So I had the landscape fabric out, and I went ahead and did this area at the end of my other raised beds because I knew that I was going to be planting potatoes soon, and I wanted to make sure it was ready to go because I didn't like having to mow around it. So this is after Olivia and I took some time and cleaned all the mulch out from around all of the garlic and the shallots. I was really happy that we were able to get this part done because this is going to allow me to fertilize and then top with compost and get all the things done that I needed to do for spring. So this was weighing on my mind, and she was such a great little helper on this day. I just kept shoveling the sawdust into buckets, and she just kept dumping it in the compost. So perfect little helper on this day. So we've got almost all of the sawdust removed. It's not a perfect job, but good enough that I can start sprinkling in some fertilizer and get these areas treated next on the list. Okay, next day, next thing on the list. So I'm removing the silage tarps from these two beds so that I can get ready to plant carrots down the middle of these two beds. And then also I'm peeling back the silage tarp from part of Olivia's bed so that we can plant the lettuce as well. So I'm going to take you guys with me. I'm picking out the carrot seeds right now, and here we go, getting ready to plant. Okay, we've got our seeds, we've got our areas to plant, and here we go. So this is actually going to have a trellis that goes over this part of the bed. But underneath the trellis, we're going to have lettuce, and so it's going to get some shade from the plants on the trellis. So we're going to do some of the salad mix from M.I. Gardner because that's the chicken's favorite, and this is for the chickens. So we do cut and come again style. So we're just gonna make some little trenches, if you will. And what I'm gonna do so I'm just gonna take it and seed pretty heavily. And I just barely cover it, basically just enough to keep the birds off of it. And so that it doesn't completely wash away when the rain hits it or if I water it. And then we'll do the same thing in the next trench. And then these will grow up and they'll just form a perfect little hedgerow, if you will, of lettuce. And you can snip off the tops and they will keep growing back. So that's cut and come again style. Because you cut it and then it comes again. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of press this down. You don't have to do this, but we are gonna get some rain tonight and I don't want these little seeds to get bounced around. If they do, that's okay. I can reseed, but sometimes I'll cover them like I'm gonna do with the carrots, but I think for today, we'll just try it like this. Okay, so for these carrots, we have two little trenches. Basically, we've put our pieces of wood. You can do this with cardboard or you don't have to do this, but I like doing it with a piece of wood because it's a little heavier, it won't blow off. So you just make a little trench and then you grab your seeds and you sprinkle it similar to how we did with the lettuce. And then you just water it in and roll this right on top of it. And every day, every couple days, well, every day, starting after 5 or 6 days, you come and roll this off of it to see if it's germinated. And once it's germinated, you can take it off. But this helps these little carrot seeds from not rolling all around and getting lost. And carrot seeds will not germinate if they dry out. So this keeps them nice and moistened while they germinate. So we're going to go ahead and I seed pretty heavily with carrots. So this first row, we're going to do New Carota. Delicious, sweet. These are older seeds, so I'm going to seed pretty heavily. Okay, the next one we're going to do is Scarlet Nance carrot. Same thing. right, now we will put their little boards on top. And this bed, where these are, is actually right in between a row of tomatoes over here and a row of tomatoes over there. So these are going to be interplanted inside and underneath the tomatoes. Let's do the next bed. These next two that we're going to do, we have Imperator and Tender Sweet. Let's do one on one side and one the other. So we'll do Imperator over here. All right, here is a before of the chicken, the bed next to the chicken coop. Strawberries went crazy in here, so I'm gonna pull these out, put them in these, and the ones that are healthy and great, I will transplant into other places. I will give some to some friends, and then I'm gonna top off this bed and plant some brassica in here. So this strawberry bed next to the chicken coop. Oh my goodness, you guys, I have been putting off doing this since fall. Since fall, I knew that the strawberries went crazy in here and I knew I should have maintained them better, but I did not. And if you do not maintain your strawberries, they take over and they are happy to do it. So this I thought was going to take me half hour. It actually took me almost 2 hours. And originally there were 30, maybe 40 strawberry plants in here, which was way too many to begin with. I pulled out at least 200. So yeah, they definitely multiplied. So I was able to give a ton of them away, and I have several hundred still waiting to be transplanted into the new berry beds. So stay tuned for future videos of all the things strawberry, and I'm excited though. I'm excited. Okay, well that is about 400 strawberry plants out. I'm gonna top off this bed real quick, and then we'll plant our brassicas that we have left over. Okay, my friends, so this is the moment where I buried my hori and didn't realize it. Don't worry, I found it back. I found it later when I was looking for it to plant our brassicas up. But so normally I top off my beds with compost in the fall and in the spring, but I had this raised bed mix that needed used up. So I went ahead and just used it to top off these beds instead of going through the process of getting the compost out of the compost bin and that kind of stuff. So not that one's better than the other. I do prefer using compost, but in this moment, it was just as easy to go ahead and get this topped off with the raised bed mix. So now we're going to get ready to plant our brassicas. So these brassicas are long past when they needed to get in the ground. So let's get these planted. I have unburied my hori, which was buried. That's okay. All right, so we've got a broccoli. What's this? Cabbage. Cabbages go down in front, tall stuff in the back. So first one, Jersey Wakefield cabbage is going to go right there. Another Jersey Wakefield cabbage right there. A Cour de something French cabbage right there. And a purple Savoy. I'm going to get these holes, put some 1, 2, 3, 4. broccoli. He looks a little sad. He might not make it, but you never know. So we're gonna give him a happy little place to grow. Okay, you are a white cauliflower. Cauliflower, cabbage, broccoli. Move down to this side. Sorry for the chicken noises. They're talking to me since I'm over here. This is a purple Savoy. Cabbage. This is a red bull Brussels sprout. We saved from the other bed. Did I put trifecta around this one? Can't remember. Just do a little more. Okay, one more. We have... Who are you? A white cauliflower. Uh-oh. You're supposed to be over there. Okay, so broccoli, cauliflower, cabbages, all our brassicas are in the ground. They just need watered in and some cages. Cages we'll have to do another day, but watering in, we can do that for sure. So there's definitely a few things still to do on the list, but the last thing that we're going to tackle on this day and in this video is we're going to go ahead and fertilize all of the garlic and shallots that overwintered. And so these are the beds that Olivia and I removed all of the mulch from. It's super important to remove the mulch that you use over the winter. And in our case, it was the pine shavings. And so we're going to remove them and then get a good fertilizer on there. I love using Trifecta Plus for all the things. So I'm using Trifecta Plus this time. And you could scratch it right into the first inch or so of the soil. But on this day, I'm just going to go ahead and kind of broadcast it over. We're going to get a lot of rain, some severe storms over the next couple days. So I'm going to let it just kind of saturate and soak in from those rainstorms. And then I'll come back when the storms are done and I will top with some compost. That'll be everything they need. Okay, my friends, I think I'm going to do the rest of it in another video because the day is getting long. So we've got a little more fertilizing and filling up garden beds and stuff. But I think I'm going to wait and do that on a second video. So I want to thank you guys so much for spending time with me today while we did our outdoor chores, planted our onions, planted the rest of our brassicas. I want to thank you guys for all the likes and the comments and the shares. If you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. We have a whole lot more growing and preserving and gardening to do. So can't wait to see you guys next time. Bye, my friend.